We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you
Hello, you guys. So, I am making a video and I had my camera on and I realized after I finished this first layer that I didn't have a card in my camera. Can you believe it? But anyways, welcome to VlogMas Crafts day number 9 days of December. So anyways, what I have done here is I just got this tray at the Dollar Tree and it's a silver metal. It's silver in color, but it is not silver in metal. But it looks silvery, but it isn't silver metal. Anyways, I also got this chalk paint at Michael's, and it's chalkboard paint. It's not chalk paint, it's chalkboard paint. And this is the first time that I've used the brush on. I've always bought the spray paint, but I wanted to give this a go, and I thought that it would be easier, especially since it's so cold here in Colorado right now, that I just wanted to give a try to the paintable chalkboard paint. So what I'm doing is I'm making a countdown chalkboard so that we can place this on the spool table so that we can keep track of how many days until Christmas. So this is what I've already done. I just used a small brush, a small cheap brush. Let me clean it. To go around the edges of this plate. And I am dropping things into my wet chalkboard paint. So I went around the edges as carefully as I could to get a clean line, and then if I messed up, I took a Q-tip and just went around to clean that edge up. So it's pretty clean. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. And that's where we are. And then I dumped some of the paint on here. I used one of these sponge brushes to spread. Can you see it with all the blackness around me? How big is this guy? Let me smush some water out of this. This is a 2-inch sponge paint, sponge brush that I spread the paint out on here, and I am currently letting this dry, and then I'm going to put another layer. Now I'm not incredibly happy with the surface because it's not as smooth as I would like for it to be, but I'm hoping that my second coat it will smooth out a bit. You can kind of see on there how it's not 100% smooth, and I think that that's just the way that it is when you're using the paintable chalkboard paint. I think that you're just going to get brush lines in it, but I'm hoping as it dries and then when I put the second coat on there that my results are a little bit smoother for the second coat. I think that you have to do a second coat on this to get a good layer, so that none of the silver's peeking through. And it did have a pattern. I don't know if you can pick that up. Let me see if I can get the light to hit it. It did have a pattern on the back of the plate. I think you can see it. It's like a floral pattern, which I don't mind if that peeks through, but my coverage, that will be a good indicator about my coverage if I can get that covered up. Okay, so I'm sorry that I didn't have a card in my camera because you missed me painting that, but we'll definitely have the card in the camera for my second coat. Okay, so I'll be back as soon as this is dry. So I'm going to give this a second coat, and I'm going to use this brush to try to get my lines a little bit smoother on here. So I've put some paint on a paper plate over here, and I'm just going to go up to the point where my paint is on the rim. Because I just really want to get a smooth finish on here. And if I have to do a couple of thinner coats in order to achieve that, then that's what I'm going to do. That sponge brush gave me a nice thick coat, but now I want to thin this out to get a smoother finish on this top layer. I'm just going to take my time going up to the edge. And then my drying time should be faster as well. I'm just feathering that paint out to give it a nice smooth surface. And there's probably going to be some bumps. That adds that homemade character. I'm going to go this way just to clean up my edge here. And then feather it back out so that my strokes are all going the same way. Okay, that looks pretty clean. A little bit more paint. Chalkboard paint was such an awesome invention. You can do so much, so many crafts with it. I remember getting so excited when it came out. So my paint wasn't quite dry there, so I got a little. But you know, the roughness kind of gives it some character. So now it's not bad. It smoothed it out quite a bit. My coverage is pretty good. I don't think I'm going to have to put another layer. I can see a little bit of that pattern, but not very much of it. So I'll see what it looks like after it dries. My edges look pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with as clean as it looks, and with this being a metal, I have a feeling that this paint will scratch. If I see anywhere I don't, you know, if there's any boogered edges on it, which they all look good, but if you were to get any on there and it dries, I think that the chalkboard paint would scratch right off of it. So, okay, so I'll be back. This is pretty much dry. It's a little bit tacky, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step. So I'm going to add some of this thicker jute onto here just to add a little bit more decorative qualities to it. So I'm going to start over here in the corner, and I'm just going to do little bits of glue. My glue gun isn't a very good glue gun, and I haven't been letting it warm up for very long, so I'm just doing little tiny sections at a time. You might want to use a better glue for this because I don't know how well this is even going to stick to this plate, because I don't even know what kind of metal this is. It seems to be doing okay, and this isn't going to get a whole lot of wear and tear, so I might be okay getting away with hot glue on this. I'm not a huge fan of the hot glue gun, but it seems like for these kinds of projects that it is your best bet. And this just kind of adds in a little bit more of my decor, this shabby rustic look that I tend to gravitate towards. And I don't want to just make this just strictly a Christmas theme, because I might want to use this for more than just Christmas. I might want to use it for other holidays or celebration type things like birthdays and whatnot. So I don't really want to decorate it out in Christmas, or if I do, I want to be able to remove those types of things on it and change it up for other uses. And then this way, if your painting around that rim wasn't real pretty, this will kind of hide that. Mine didn't turn out too bad, but this just kind of finishes that edge out. Another glue stick. Try to cut this off without scratching it. Probably should have thought about cutting it before I glued it all the way down. Put a little bit of glue down there just to finish this off. And I just put my edge down there at the corner or up here. However, so that's what we look like so far. Let me see if there's anything else that I might want to add to it. Kind of looking in my extra little trim basket here. I've got this doily. That might look kind of cute. I think I might do that. I really want to get the flower part on there. So I am going to just tack down this in a couple places. I'm gonna flip it over. And then decide how I want to do this. I think I'll just flip this. Just work my way around this edge here. I'll pleat this up a bit. I think that's what I don't like about hot glue is the strings. Okay, so that's just kind of tacked on there. So you can take an idea like this and then make it your style. So even if you don't get a plate like this, you can get just a basic plate, because I've basically covered this whole plate up and just the trim is showing. And you know, you can keep going with this. I'm going to grab some buttons. And you could definitely add some Christmas elements into this that are removable. Now this was my mom's, I think it was my grandmother's buttons. It may have even been my great-grandmother's buttons, passed down to my grandmother and then my mom. And when I saw this at my mom's, I was so thrilled, like ooze. I oozed happiness. My sister-in-law was with me, and I was beyond excited. Like if there was one charm or one needle in a haystack that I could have walked away with, that anything at all that I could have walked away with that meant the most to me was probably this right here, my mom's button box, because this holds so much meaning to me. There's a lot of little buttons in here, so even if I don't find anything to put on this but one little button, that'll be enough for me. There's something in here. There will be something in here. I mean, there's even just like little bows. You know, just to know that my mom dug through these bows the same way that I am, you know, shuffling through these bows. Makes me happy. I did see the other day when I was going through this, there was a really cute, here it is, this little angel. I'm going to put it on. Look at this button. How funny, it's just like an orange. Really, really some old buttons in here. Some old ones and some new ones. So I'm going to take this little angel. Now typically I would cut this off, but since I've got some holes and stuff in here, I'm just going to place this little angel right in the corner. Okay. And it's silver, so it goes really well in there. And then just to make this a little bit Christmassy for the season, now I can add some little wintry Christmassy elements to this that I can remove after the season. Can leave these even up through the winter, and they're not permanent, but I can customize it through the holiday by just putting these snowflake stickers on here. I'm gonna take this off because they're removable, so they're not permanent. And then I made some more little pom-poms while I was sitting and watching TV last night. So I think what I'll do is take a couple of these little guys. And if I can incorporate them somehow, which I'm sure I can. Like right there. Maybe I'll tie them. Have one hang a little bit lower than the other. Let's see what that looks like. I want my angel to show. Oh, so maybe they need to be even. Okay. And then I'm going to just put a spot of glue because I can peel this glue off. Or you could use a glue dot. I'm going to stick those there. Okay, and since this back part is going to be somewhat visible, I'm just going to cut a piece of this twine. I'm going to make a little bow. I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to stick it on there. This is still a little tacky, so I'm still not going to write on that. I'm probably going to give it a couple of hours. So then this is going to sit in my little plate stand. Okay, and then I'm going to write on it. So I could still add some snowflakes directly onto. I'm just going to lightly tack those down. Just lightly tack those down so that I'm not fiercely trying to peel stickers off of my chalkboard. Let's put one more. Okay, and there you go. I like it just like that, and I will write what I'm going to write on here after this has a chance to completely set up and isn't tacky any longer, and then I will have pictures at the end of this video so that you guys can see. what it looks like with the writing and at the table where I'm going to place it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And as always, God bless. Bye-bye.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish